Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Commissioner meeting Thursday, March 10th, 2022. And we'll start the meeting with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Commissioner Kirschner, you want to handle the prayer this morning?
Sure.
Thank you.
Please join me in a short prayer. Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance as we make decisions that affect those people we serve. We ask in a special way today to protect those people who are suffering from war. We ask that you protect all the soldiers. We ask especially that you protect all those who are protecting our freedoms. We ask all this through your Son. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Here.
Commissioner Schuff,
Here.
Commissioner Kirschner.
Here.
Okay, Commissioner Schuff, I'll accept the motion to approve the digital audio recordings of the previous board session from Thursday, March 3rd, 2022.
Not feeling any pressure, but I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes, that's just a page out of your playbook, Commissioner Kirschner.
There you go.
Good. County Administrator's report.
None today.
Check that off.
Yep.
Okay. Just a smiley face and,
Just a smiley face, yep. I'll
okay.
touch on capital under old business.
Retail business. All right. We'll go back to the top of our agenda and we'll, I'm going to mention the AmeriCorps. We have a proclamation, but I guess they're coming in next week. And they'll be present and we'll recognize them and looking forward to that. Thank you. So with that, Sheriff, we'll bring you up, okay? Talk about your crisis response team and.
Well, it's not my crisis response team, but I'm just here introducing NAMI, who has a project or a team
That's what.
that's going to start July 1st. And I'm here to introduce Dave Olds, who's going to be heading up that team. But I wanted to let everybody know that I fully support this project. It's already gone live in Sandusky County. We're hearing good things out of it. I believe it's going to be a win-win for our county as well. And I'll let Dave explain what the mobile crisis team is going to do for Seneca County residents. Dave Olds.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, very nice to meet you. My name's Dave Olds, retired law enforcement, 30 years, I'm still in law enforcement, but now I'm working for NAMI.
You've been
there
here before, haven't you? Have you been here?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
I
I was the chief of police in Upper Sandusky. I retired from there in 2017. I've been working with NAMI since about 2009, 2010 through CIT, and then now I'm working with the CISM and also the Mobile Crisis Response Team. So I'd actually like to talk to you about a couple of different programs, one that's already here and one that is coming. And the first one that's already here is what's called Critical Incident Stress Management Team, and I'll leave a couple of brochures for you today. Our Critical Incident Stress Management Team is made up of professionals and citizens from throughout 6 different counties, and we actually cover 6 different counties now, to go and do kind of like a guided discussion when a critical incident happens within the community. So if something bad happens within your community, we get a phone call and we put together a team that goes out and does this guided discussion and tries to lessen a little bit of the stress that people are experiencing through that critical incident. So that's already here, and there's actually a phone number here that's answered 24/7. It actually comes right straight to my cell phone. So that's one of the things that's already here, and it's already utilized quite a bit in Seneca County. I know we were just out with Sheriff. We just did one here last week for 2 different places in Seneca County. But we have actually covered about 6 different departments when we did it. So, but we do this for law enforcement, police, fire, EMS, any kind of agency. We've done it for children's services here. We've done it for the health department. We've done it for nursing home that was here. We've done quite a different places where they've experienced some kind of incident, and then we go out and just try to talk to them. It does not take the place of therapy or any kind of like counseling, but it's just a starting point for decreasing some of that stress that's involved. So that's CISM, and I'll leave these here for you in case
Are
you're
are you associated with your group?
Yes.
Mental health, yeah.
Yes.
Because we have the man of the year sitting there, I believe.
Yeah, yes, we do.
Was it that last year?
All of these programs that I'm talking to you about are funded through the Mental Health Recovery Services
Okay,
Board.
thank you.
We cover 6 counties,
It's
so,
making sense now.
yep.
Yeah, this is good,
Yes.
thank you.
We cover 6 counties, so it also encompasses the Huron County and the Erie County Mental Health Recovery Services Board, but 4 counties come from our board here, so.
Okay,
And I'll add to that, we've utilized them since I've been the sheriff at least 2 or 3 times. Recently for the plane crash that we had, all the agencies that were involved, we did a debrief at the Bascom Fire Station of all the agencies. And there were multiple agencies, the OSP, the Fostoria Police Department, Fostoria Fire, the Bascom EMS, County EMS, our deputies, and it was very, very helpful. We did several hours that night. We've used them for other incidents that we've had, other critical incidences. So no cost. Obviously, it's funded through the Mental Health Board, but it's very beneficial for the start of understanding the cumulative things that you see or feel or experience during that critical incident and stuff. So kudos to Murchow and Dave Olds and NAMI for having that in our area, because in the past, in my experience in 30 years, and Chief of Tiffin, you had to make multiple phone calls and try to get somebody from the state up here or anything, and not having that resource locally means that there's a lag, there's a time delay, and being able to call locally and get it set up within a day or two of that traumatic event or that critical incident is vitally important.
Thanks, Fred.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've actually been able to respond that night, if it's that critical. I'll get a team together and go out that night on occasion.
great.
So, yeah, everything Fred said, and we also try to make sure that we take care of everybody even afterwards. So a lot of times what we're trying to do is determine whether or not somebody may specifically be suffering. If we can pick up on it, we're trained to pick up on it, and if we pick up on that, then we kind of reach out to them afterwards and say, is there something more we could do for you? And then usually we work through either their insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, or through the Mental Health Recovery Services Board to find them some type of counseling, or one of the other programs that we're doing with NAMI throughout the counties is that Melanie, about 2 years ago, got a grant for EMDR therapy, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. It's a relatively new therapy that was developed by a scientist for the military to treat returning vets with PTSD. But it treats a multitude of different things. And so we trained over 100 clinicians throughout our 6-county region to be able to do that training. And then we also have paid for numerous people to go through it, especially through public safety, to go through it for free. That grant has since discontinued, but we're still working with Melanie's. We find funding, and the Mental Health Recovery Services Board finds funding for us to be able to, when someone can't pay for it, we find a way. So that's just 2 of the things that we're doing right now. So then on to the Mobile Crisis Response Team. As Fred said, this started out as a pilot project in Sandusky County. It was actually Murch's idea, and he came to me back in August of 2020 and said, will you design something that will support public safety and the citizens to better handle mental health calls? We've since expanded a little bit, but in any event, we wanted to be able to find a team that could go out and help law enforcement or EMS or fire, whomever's handling that type of call, to handle it in a little bit better way. So what we ended up coming up with was a team of 3 people, and those people consist of a navigator, a crisis case manager, and a crisis intervention specialist. The different persons in that have different roles and different levels of education. So the navigator would be an LPC, licensed professional counselor, or an LSW, which is a licensed social worker, or above. Our current one is an LPCCS, which means she's reached the highest level of an LPC. And then we have, so that person actually works with the clientele for a longer period of time, anywhere from 3 months to a year, sometimes even longer, just depends on the individual. But the idea there is to, once we engage with that person, keep them engaged, keep them in services, keep them in doing their medications or whatever they need to do. If it could be something as simple as housing or food or whatever. We've gone out numerous times to food banks and got food, or the Care and Share and got clothing for people. Whatever it takes to get that person stable, so we work for a longer period of time to keep them stable within the community. The goal of that is to reduce local hospitalizations, reduce the amount of time that law enforcement is spending on calls, and reduce the amount of calls that law enforcement is having. So we're seeing a reduction in especially a lot of the, we call them frequent flyers, people that 10% that takes up 90% of your services. What we're trying to do is really connect with those type of people and keep them talking to us. And that way they stop calling law enforcement for every issue that they have, or they stop calling EMS for every issue that they have. And they engage with us, and then we try to solve their problems whichever way we can. So the navigator works long term, and then we also have a crisis case manager and a crisis intervention specialist. And I brought both of those people with me today, so I'm going to let them talk to you a little bit about what they do. So I'll start with Lillian Cardona, who is our case manager.
So I am the crisis case manager. My background is a Master of Science in Forensic Psychology. Prior to coming on board here, I worked with the state of Michigan, doing a lot with the Protective Services Division, and also with behavioral analysts, dealing a lot with the forensic population. So my role is, once we get a call from law enforcement and the scene is secured, we try to, Garcia and I, go in there, gauge, try to assess what's going on. If the individual is in acute crisis, we're trying to get this individual stable to the point where we're able to voluntarily transport them to the hospital so that they can get the necessary emergency services that they need. Understanding also that while we're on scene, before we go on scene, obviously, if it's, because it can get dangerous, law enforcement is always out there, and they will lead us in to make sure that the safety of everyone is secured. While we're there, we're again trying to de-escalate, understanding that once they're de-escalated, they might escalate once again. So it's trying to contain it, get the individual to the point where they're stable so that we can better assess and get them into the hospital. And hopefully, first and foremost, again, the safety of everyone is always looking at that totality of the picture.
Thank you.
My name's David Garcia. I'm the intervention specialist. I'm part of the three-person team at Lily. I work very closely with and rely on her heavily. 27 years with the state of Ohio in public safety, as well as law enforcement. So my background is obviously a little different than the normal, but nevertheless, working with first responders, that connection really is a key part of it as well too. So working with first responders when they call, coming up with a plan for everybody's safety is key to us, and making sure this individual is, one, safe for everybody's concerns there, and also giving our first responders another tool to use. So they're not putting hands on or having to escalate to that situation. And we find that very beneficial working with our first responders.
And we also do a lot of follow-ups. So let's say once this individual is voluntarily transported to the hospital, our job doesn't end there. So we will continue to follow up with this individual, linking them with the navigator so that the navigator can work with them, linking them with mental health services. And a lot of the times there's a lot of barriers because some of these individuals don't have transportation or are afraid to go on a bus, because that can escalate them to the point where, again, they're starting all over again, the same cycle of where they started from before when it comes to their mental health issues. So we will transport we won't transport all the time, but with individuals that we see that there is a big need, we will transport and take them to their appointments. So it doesn't stop the point is, it doesn't stop once we're there on call, on scene, trying to de-escalate and trying to stabilize the situation to get the individual help. Our work with them continues.
Right, they act as an arm for the navigator continuing forward. So if the navigator feels that the person through communication feels that the person is starting to go into crisis or pre-crisis again, she might send the team out just to get them back stable again and work with them however they need and find whatever services that they need to get them stable again. So
Good stuff.
one of the things, like I said, that we try to do is to reduce the amount of time on calls for law enforcement. And Lily kind of suggested this, that there are calls where we will go to them and feeling comfortable enough to handle it ourselves, we can tell law enforcement, okay, we got it, we'll see you later, and they can just leave the scene and go right back on patrol. There's other times that we don't, if they're violent or we feel like they could be violent, then we don't. We keep law enforcement with us. We do have the ability to reduce local hospitalizations because MRCHA actually found or worked on getting us contracts with some of the other psychiatric wards in the Toledo area and Lorraine area, so that we can actually drive directly to those locations and potentially just drop someone off. When we do it that way, we're looking at about 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back, and maybe an hour to 2 hours tops at that place. When we usually go through a local hospital, we spend anywhere from 4 to 12 hours waiting for things to get done. So we work very closely also with our local mental health providers, so with Firelands, Community Health Services, and ProMedica. Also with eventually here with Mercy. We work with them. We go out and actually do welfare checks for them. So if they call during the day and say, hey, we haven't heard from our client, or we just talked to our client, doesn't sound good, we go check on them. So we're cutting down again on what law enforcement's having to do, because we'll go out and do the welfare check versus law enforcement having to do it. We're also doing a new program with Firelands and some of the others where we will go into the community and actually with a nurse from that location to administer the medications that they might need, so that, again, we're alleviating the barriers that Lily talked about. They don't have transportation, or they don't like being around people, or they don't like big areas. We'll go right to them to administer the medications. So we're doing a lot of different things to try to help out with handling mental health calls. And we just wanted you guys to know that we're going to be coming to your area probably around July 1st will be our start date. We've been here a number of times already helping out on some cases. Actually, I know they're working on one as of tomorrow. We've been working with somebody probably about 2 months, 3 months now?
2 months.
2 months. That's in the Tiffin area. We worked with one prior, and I think we have a couple others that we've been working with. But we will venture out. We've been into 4 counties already, because once somebody hears you have something that's working, they all call you. So we were in Oak Harbor yesterday, Tiffin the day before. We've been into Huron County, so we're kind of making our way around right now. The plan is to expand into 4 counties by July 1st. So we're going to cover Seneca, Ottawa, Sandusky, and Wyandotte counties. And we're going to do that by obviously expanding the amount of team members that we have. So we're going to be adding on another navigator, and we're going to be adding on 2 more teams of a crisis case manager, a crisis intervention specialist. And those will actually be stationed here. One of them will be here in Tiffin area. The other one will be in Ottawa County, one will be in Sandusky County, and we're kind of have to share between the 3 counties where we're going. So with that being said, there might be some resources that we might reach out for in the near future and say, hey, can you help us out on something? Because we're a nonprofit, and MRCHA is funding all of this right now. So we're looking into that as well for some sustainability ideas. But I think that pretty well covers it. Melanie, would you like to say anything?
Thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
Melanie.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Yeah,
It's so nice
good
to
morning.
see you all. So, really, it's really, we're so privileged to have NERCHA, working with our area, with our mental health board and with the boards here. The levy dollars are being put to very good use. It's hard to even calculate how much money we're actually saving. For example, the county of Seneca, because it's hard for us to quantify the reduced hours and calls, or the ability for you to be able to hire more additional people because we're freeing up those dollars in new ways. So it's a work in progress where this is a unique program for the state of Ohio. And as far as we know, there isn't anything like it in the country. Operating in a rural communities is a little bit different than the working in a much metropolitan region. They have a lot of resources that we don't have. And so I just want to assure you that the levy dollars are being put to very, very good use. If we can keep our communities safer and healthier, it's hard to quantify that, in terms of, actually, what that looks like on the long term. I think in 10 years from now, we'll look back and say, wow, that's just how looking where we were 10 years ago. If you're not familiar with what we do at NAMI as a nonprofit, our mission is easy. We educate, we advocate, and we support you. You is everyone. During the COVID era, a lot of our work has been done over the telephone. We're very effective in helping families and individuals in crisis. Sometimes we'll spend an hour or 2 hours on the phone with them, helping them navigate what's happening, making referrals, making phone calls, and if necessary, then we work with them, the entire family unit, if we can get them involved. But the work is really, what makes us unique is that we're, as a nonprofit, we're sort of the hub. We're sort of the center of what's happening. And so we really have the capacity to direct people to where they need to go based on what's happening with their individual situations and what their best fit is. And so the other part of that is that we work with the family. And as a family advocate, so advocacy is one of the most important roles I believe that I do. And so we can work with these families, and so I can teach them, we can teach them how to better manage their loved ones who are in crisis. And I'll just say this, I am a family member, I have a sister that I care for. And my goal is to keep her out of the hospital and out of jail. That's my goal. I don't know how many times she was in the hospital, and I don't know how many times she was in jail before I took over her care full time. But what I can say is that it's that experience, she's my best teacher. That experience allows me to help all the families that I interact with every day, because I get it, I know how hard it is, and I also know that there's hope, that I can teach these families better opportunities, and that helps you because it's very stressful. The families really, most of the time, are exhausted. They just don't know what to do any longer with their loved ones, and it's not that they don't care, as a general rule, they're just simply exhausted. And so just know that we're a resource for you here. We do a lot of work in Seneca County. We're in the schools a lot here. We're just very busy. Let me just say that.
One of the resources is their CIT program.
Thank you, sir.
And when I was the chief of at Tiffin and the sergeant in charge of the training, I went to one of their first classes that they had in Seneca County, and I made it mandatory for all the officers to have it at the police department. That was my goal. We could only send 3 a year through the grants and stuff like that. Eventually we got there when I became chief, but we also expanded it to all the dispatchers as well that deal with people with crisis on the phone. That's one of the things that I brought out to the sheriff's office, is that out of the employees out there, I think we had maybe 3 or 4 that were CIT certified. It's a 40-hour program, teaches you during that week how to deal with people in crisis. They get to go on a call out of their uniform as an observer, which is a totally different perspective for law enforcement, but it gives you a different perspective. And that's the kind of thing that I thought that brought value to that program for us in law enforcement. So a goal out the sheriff's office is to have all the dispatchers, the jailers, and the deputies through this program. And we're sending probably, since you offer the program now 3 or 4 times a year, we'll be able to get them cycled through. But it does cost training, and it does cost overtime to be able to do that. But it's an important tool in the tool belt, because it gets our foot in the door, understanding we don't have to go hands-on anymore. You can use those verbal skills that you've learned. And then now with this next tool that goes hand in hand with the crisis mobile team, that's just going to bring it all together, I think, and close the circle. So.
Absolutely, well said, sir. And these 2 gentlemen are the ones who helped me understand how important CIT was for our communities and what the impact was. And so we're just, again, David's being modest. We have the largest CIT program in the state of Ohio. David and I both are involved in training and assisting with the statewide program. Takes up, we're really, David and I are both very, very busy, in regards to that CIT part, but it all connects, everything connects. It all comes back to providing something that our communities need that was not available, keeping our law enforcement safe, reducing liability for you, because if you guys aren't gonna have lawsuits against you for wrongful,
Taking somebody into custody, having,
right, excessive
fighting
force
with
and
them,
things like
breaking an
that,
arm, yeah.
right. And so we have, and the other part of that, which someday we'll show you, is the documentation piece, which we have a data portal now, which is being used by how many people are using it actively right now, since it's brand new?
25 different law enforcement
25,
agencies.
brand new, yep, just launched it out, but it is that tool that will give us the data, that will give our officers and our chiefs information that they need to keep, to assure if something did go sideways on a call, that we have the proof that they did what they could and it still went sideways, which does happen, and I'll tell you, and I'll tell my families, we have the best officers, we've got the best law enforcement anywhere. I would put these guys up anywhere because they're just the best. And I know that I always tell my families to trust it, to call the law enforcement, that they will really be very helpful and supportive, and they are. And that's just, it's just all of us working together is just, we can't count the value for the county and for all of us here. So I could go on, I could talk a lot more.
I want to summarize it if I can at the end.
Love it.
Because it's a lot of information, I know, and we can talk for hours. But really, we are here because of the mobile crisis response team that we are planning to have in Seneca County July 1. Is unique in Ohio for a rural community, as Melanie said, is unique in the nation. We are very proud of it. This is probably the single most significant project since I've been around that we are implementing. Having a team to go out on a scene with law enforcement, try to de-escalate the situation, try to avoid any violent situation, and then do the follow-up care. This individual's been in clients' homes in Sandusky County in the middle of the pandemic. And I don't know if any other healthcare agency except them went to clients' homes. So it's just amazing. Transport people in the middle of the pandemic. So very proud of this. I think this will be a huge project for Seneca County. It is the right time to do it. Tifon Police Chief, Fostoria Police Chief, and the Sheriff seems very on board. Probably for the first time since I've been around, you have three heads that are really on the same page. So it's just the right opportunity to do this. We are not asking for any funding from the county. We have various means to do it. I know Melanie mentioned the levy, but we have some other things in our back pocket to
How
fund
about
this
Region
program.
17?
Like Region 17, yeah.
Is that a possibility?
It could be, yes, yes.
Okay, just my thought. real
And this
quick.
is a 4-county project, so
Yeah.
yes. And then hopefully we get to the point, maybe in 12 to 24 months from now, where we can bill for some of these services for Medicaid clients. So it's a really extensive project, again, very proud of. Probably, again, the single most significant project we plan to bring to Seneca County.
Wow, I'll yield to,
May I add something?
yes, go ahead.
And I'm
Lily?
going to
Lily,
piggyback
right?
on something that Mel said, and thank you, Mircha. For me, it's been wonderful working with law enforcement in Sandusky County. They've been phenomenal, and without law enforcement, I don't see this being possible, because they have been right on the cutting edge with us, mental health individuals, providers, and it's been wonderful seeing how the combination of mental health professionals and law enforcement working together for one cause, and that's to the betterment of a human life. So that's priceless. So kudos to our law enforcement, in particular in Sandusky County area, where this all started. And again, thank you.
David, you want to say anything? The other, we have two Davids, right?
No, thank you, Commissioners, for your time, and, look forward to working with the county as well and your partners.
Thank you for being here.
So we'll go around with the three commissioners. Commissioner Kirschner, any comments?
Oh, just kind of absorbing what everyone said in there. Appreciate all the good work.
Commissioner Shell.
Yeah, I just want to say, appreciate what you guys are doing and what you're bringing to the table. I don't think people would fully understand or fathom how important mental health is. I mean, a lot of these workers are first responders, EMS people, the police. I mean, some of the loads they carry and what they take home with them, and it adds up day after day. So what you're doing to try to help these people and individuals to alleviate some of those, some of that weight, it's great what you're doing. So I support it and keep it up.
You know, what's amazing to me is, I mean, how often the people that come here, Sheriff, because David Zach's sitting there, how often do we hear Seneca County, this is the first time anybody's ever done that, or this is unique in the state of Ohio? We had an award ceremony out of Grammar, we had the CEO program, we have this is just amazing stuff to me. So we're real proud, and I learned something today, so thank you for coming in. As a commissioner, this is one of the benefits of being in this job, is that you constantly get to learn, and you're exposed to a lot of the things that are going on in the county.
Seneca County Trailblazers.
It's just good stuff. So I know you're busy. Thank you for coming, making not only the commissioners aware, but the citizens aware of what's going on, because that's what this is all about. We have to continue to get the word out. And it does all tie together, Sheriff, right? I mean, it just all works. I mean, if I go out to School of Opportunity, or I go, you know, you talk to the judges with the pivot program, and I know Judge Meyer with juveniles, how everything is, we're trying to help the people and trying to, these are tough situations, but everybody's working together. And this is just a great example of that. And so thank you for coming. And with that, we'll move on to 4-H, if that's okay. So you're welcome to go, Lily, David, Melanie, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Kershaw, as always, great job. Thank you. And you cease to amaze me, buddy.
Mary Trail, I'm not sure what it is, but you deserve an award of some sort. I haven't figured out which one it is yet.
So where are you going to bring us next week, buddy? This is good stuff. Thank you.
Oh, no.
Rich, I think that's the first time I've heard you say that.
Thank you.
Good luck to you guys. God bless
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
The governor is very supportive of our programs as well. He provides lots of funding.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, so just
Thank
a
you.
PS. Thank you.
Yes.
See you again. Thank you.
Boy, good stuff. Katie, you want to take the floor? And I see you have a guest here.
Yes, I do. So this week, March 6th through the 12th, is Ohio 4-H Week. And so a lot of our 4-H members, their families, our various different community clubs throughout the county have done a lot to promote not only just our county 4-H, but 4-H in general, in various different ways. And I also brought Alexis with me, who is one of my older youth 4-H members that is very active in a lot of our different older youth opportunities through 4-H. And so I brought her with me, and she's going to talk a little bit about her experiences through 4-H and all that she has been in. So.
Can you tell us where you're from, what school, those kind of things?
I go to Seneca East.
Okay. And you're a senior?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. Okay, great. Go ahead. And you're welcome to face the camera. That's fine with us.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to talk to the audience, that's fine. You can face me, whatever you want to do.
I'm Alexis Margroff. I am a 4-H member in the county. My main group is Republic Rowdy Rednecks. I do county 4-H clubs like Seneca County Junior Leadership, Seneca County Food and Fashion Board, and I am a camp counselor for 4-H camp. I have taken a cooking project, a natural resource project, and a STEM project. Every single year I take sewing projects, and this year I am the Seneca County representative on the 4-H State Fashion Board. And my experience with 4-H is that it opened me up from being a timid, shy kid to a more extrovert. And it has helped me with public speaking, interview type situations, and I meet a lot of new people in the state and the county.
So you're over at the Attica Fair, right, as well? Yeah.
Thanks for
I
representing
feel
us.
like I've seen you there before. Who do we have as a guest here?
That's my mom.
This is Mom. Hi, Mom.
Which we have to thank our parents too,
Absolutely.
because they're a pivotal role in all of it, so.
So, Mom, come on up, we'll get a photo real quick with you. Steph, come on here behind the, we do this. Come on back here. And you're proud of your mom and the people that help you. And can you hold come on back, sit back right up there, hold the sign.
I should have worn my green shirt.
Mom, come on in you come on in the picture. Katie, hop up here. I don't need it. You guys can get up there. I guess Commissioner Kirschner will photobomb you.
Can you move this chair a little bit?
And
Just move them out.
yeah, we thank you for coming. Did we like the courthouse?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Every week.
Mhm.
Okay, I haven't been through at night, so I haven't seen it.
I used the
Yeah,
force.
I did see the notice come through.
Yep.
So let's
Okay.
take one without the commissioners, then we'll bring the commissioners in for one.
Thank you.
All right, you guys ready? I'm gonna take a couple. 3, 2, 1. Gonna do one more. Commissioners, jump in there.
We don't want to ruin the picture.
They're gonna break my camera again. Just kidding, guys. All right, please don't fire me. Okay, looks great. Thank you.
Thank you all for your support through the 4-H
it's just-
program.
Thanks for all you do.
I'm telling you.
And I'll just say one more thing too. Our enrollment deadline is approaching fast, so any youth or 4-H members are ages 5 years old and in kindergarten all the way through age 18. And so our enrollment deadline is approaching next Sunday, March 20th, in order to be an active member within Seneca County 4-H.
And Katie, aren't there 1,000 members for 4-H?
Yep,
What's the
we
number?
have
It's
close
amazing.
to 1,000 youth members and around 150 adult volunteers that help with our community clubs throughout the county. So yes, we are very fortunate in the fact that we are one of the counties in the state that has a very good and thriving 4-H program.
How many?
1,000 within the county?
Just within the
Yep.
county? It's amazing.
Wow.
There's 40-some clubs. How many rednecks do we have in your club?
They're one of the bigger ones.
Not sure, but I think it's around 70.
Wow.
Could be, yeah.
So there's a club with 70. It's just mind-boggling. It's good stuff.
Did you
Jimmy,
give Katie the proclamation?
We have it right here, actually.
Okay.
so
okay.
I'll yield to Commissioner Schaaf to present the proclamation.
And bring my readers, so stick with me.
Thanks.
All right, we have a proclamation for the Ohio 4-H Week, which is March 6th through the 12th, 2022. No matter what school you go to or what project you are interested in, there's a 4-H club for you. Whereas Ohio 4-H Week will be celebrated across the state from March 6th through the 12th of 2022, as 4-H youth and volunteers will be actively informing Ohio citizens about the 4-H program, and how it will benefit participants, families, and their communities. And whereas this special statewide promotional effort is specifically intended to increase public awareness of the 4-H program, excite current 4-H members, and to recruit new 4-H members and volunteer leaders in all 88 counties in Ohio. And whereas 4-H is a non-formal, educational, youth development program offered to individuals from the ages of 9 to 19 across the country, 4-H youth development reaches more than 6.5 million people each year, helping kids learn by doing through hands-on activities. And whereas this year the Seneca County Fair is celebrating its 180th year anniversary, the Junior Fair theme is tipping our hats to 180 years of champions. Whereas all 4-H programs focus on active involvement and quality experiences that stimulate lifelong learning of values and skills, 4-H members learn valuable lessons in leadership, communication, and collaboration, while increasing their knowledge in math, science, technology, and a variety of other topics. And whereas the Seneca County Board of Commissioners recognize the importance of the 4-H program for many youths across the county, helping them to better themselves and thus making the community a better place to live. The board also recognizes that 4-H programs give youth a chance to pursue their own interests while learning to be leaders and active citizens. And in witness thereof, the Board of Seneca County Commissioners have hereunto set our hand to this proclamation this 10th day of March in the year of our Lord 2022. Commissioners Mike Kirschner, Anthony Paradiso, and Tyler Schaaf. Thank you.
One question, you're a camp counselor? we had camp last year, you had a live camp? Or was it,
Yes.
yeah, because the year before it was canceled, right?
Yeah, 2020 it was.
So did you were you there last year?
Yep.
The camp, and it was just,
Yeah.
yeah, I heard a lot of good things. So you'll be doing that one more time, right? Since you're a junior, you have another one? Okay, good.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
this is good stuff.
Thank you.
You gonna recite, you gonna stand up with the pledge?
Sure. Yep, 41 years of it, yeah. That is one thing I want to comment on, that I've been a 4-H advisor, been a 4-H for, a combination of 41 years. And I guess the biggest caveat, you don't have to live on a farm to participate in 4-H, as she explained all the different projects she participates in, and there was no livestock. And that's always been kind of caveat a little bit with 4-H, everybody thinks you gotta have livestock. And our club has changed from, many years from the time we started to now. That used to be predominantly livestock, but there's so many different avenues for the kids to participate in different projects and stuff with that. So it's a awesome program, the leadership, and I'm always the advisor that makes the kids pull them out of the crowd, make them stand up on a whim and tell us what's going on with their project, stuff like that. So that's the best thing you can do with kids, and get them out and talking for that. So really, that's kind of highlight my life as being a 4-H advisor.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're into commissioner reports, right? Okay. Commissioner Kirschner, anything to report today?
No, just respect for time, we'll just move on, I know we got a big agenda here.
Okay.
Keep it short and sweet. Went on the radio to give an update to citizens here today on WTTF. Had a meeting with the mayor this week. We had GL Cap as well. Had a nice lunch with Trustee Frankert here. We were going over some EMS stuff, just kind of brainstorming here this week. Broadband meeting last Friday, well attended. We had full room there to go over broadband internet for rural areas of the county. Still continue to work on the capital budget here over the next few weeks and the previous few weeks. 2 quick events. Just want to give a shout out to Seneca County Parks District is having a cabin fever hike March 15th at 6:00 p.m. at the TU Nature Preserve. So if the winter blues got you down, you want to get out of the house, they're having a cabin fever hike, so go check out the Seneca County Parks. And then last event, Sunday down to Laird, we're having a board game night, so if you want to come down and play some board games, they'll be provided. Some different eateries and whatnot will be open, but if you want to get out of the house and do a little competing or play some board games, come on out. So that's all I have.
Yeah, great. We'll be kicking off the broadband formally tomorrow. David Zach will be there. Congressman Ladd is coming. Representative Click, and you'll be there. So we're looking forward to our breakfast and then our formal meeting to kick things off. Pretty exciting. Remember when you and I had the first meeting? So that's all I have. Any old business?
Old business, just gonna, I wanna thank Jimmy Flint and John Logston. We spent a lot of time this week kind of taking the projects and the capital projects that we presented before, and Jimmy put it into a format that lays out our rationale, the years that we've been working on this. So I think he's given it to you this morning, so we appreciate if you take it into consideration. I know each of you have different projects and different priorities, so hopefully in the next week or two, you could come back and each of you kind of give an opinion on the project so we can figure out where we want to move forward. I think I'm getting the final quotes from the projects you approved last week. I should have that ready by next week. The server, some of the sheriff's things that we got going on. So those will be coming through next week. They just needed to update quotes because it's been a while, so.
Jimmy, it's Commissioner Kirschner's fault because he had the great idea to do this, which it is a good idea. Thank
It's
you,
important.
Mike. But I have to thank you too. Every time I've been in here, it's like, don't talk to me. So we just walked by Stacy and Jimmy this whole week, and John, and it's just, they've really worked hard, so.
There's arts and crafts back there.
Really, yeah, and we haven't seen anything yet. You just presented to us before the meeting, so I love the process, and it's going to be very helpful as we try to move forward, so great. Thank you. So, anything from you, Commissioner Kirschner, old business? We good?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay, new business. Stacy.
business. Yes, I was in a little bit of a panic because the auditor's office did an update to VIP, but luckily they got Buckeye IT and SSI together and it has just come up. So hopefully I don't lose it.
Like right now?
Yeah, just right now. And Barb texted me and said, you should be able to get in. I rely on the system to get all of my details since they put details in the system. So I must start going through. I have a request from Job and Family Services. This is for their Differential Response Fund, JFS Fund 2223. When they submitted the supplemental, they needed 40 cents into their contract service line to get the grant out and finalize the grant. Have to do a resolution for 40 cents because that's the law. So get that one. I have a request. This is the transfer, $118,909. It's supplemental in our transfers outline. What Soil and Water does is they send a payment to the general fund for that $118,909. It varies every year. They get match money from the state if that money comes from the general fund. So what we do is they give us a check from ditch maintenance fund. We then, put it in our transfers out. We transfer it to Soil and Water, and the state takes that and gets match money for that. And they said it has to come from
Governmental accounting, Mr. Biden.
Yep.
That's what you gotta do to get the grant.
Creative accounting and,
What percentage is that, Stacy?
That 118?
Yeah, that you get from the match on it back.
Oh, shoot.
It went down like 80%.
Yeah, it
and
did.
It's still about 80 or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'd have to check with Beth, but, any match is better
The
than.
transfer.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, that makes sense.
And it honestly doesn't come from the general fund, it gets transferred into, so that's good. I have a supplemental appropriation into our contract service line. This is for that, and I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, the Sandusky Seneca Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy. David and his crew came in last year and presented. We agreed to it then, but had to get through the grant process, and maybe David could get an update on that. But that's what that's for. Our portion was the $6,625.
Yep.
And my next one is a supplemental appropriation into the CCW software licensing for $700. That's
Is that an annual cost or a yearly cost for
the CCW.
the software licensing,
What
or-
she got on here? Because I assume it was, it's a new software agreement for their printer. Must not have had it in place at the beginning of the year, so.
Has nothing to do with the scanning, that's that?
Nope.
It's not that other,
Nope, it's a printer they're using for the CCW.
okay.
And then I have a request, same fund, into their equipment line for $1,000, and this is to replace their equipment, their printer. What else do I got here? I have an appropriation adjustment in the, this is the Opportunity Park project. Capital improvement, initially it was put into contract services, needs to go into capital improvements.
So this was a grant?
Correct.
Okay, so I've been asked, some public citizens have asked me,
Okay?
we're going through our capital projects.
Mhm.
Okay, and this is governmental accounting as well. This falls into officially a capital. But the money did not come from the general fund.
No, this
It
is
didn't
all
co-
from the
and
state
It didn't come
capital.
from the CARES fund
No.
money. It didn't come, okay.
This
I
was a
just
grant
wanna
we got from the
clarify.
state.
This was the state capital budget
Yes.
last round.
Yep.
Who got that for us, just out of curiosity?
Mike Ditto and Charlene worked quite a bit on that. Sarah Betts from
I think
the,
Representative Click was just starting maybe.
Yeah.
Or if it was, so Representative Reineke might have been there.
Crossover point.
Crossover, yeah, Adam, you were in Columbus then, but so thank you, but we're glad to have it, it's a great project, but I wanted to make it clear where the money came from, because somebody asked me this before.
Is this Opportunity Park? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put a package of letters together from our office to when that all went down.
Yeah, okay, good. This, somebody asked, so I clarified it.
Yep.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you.
Nope. So then I have a resolution authorizing a fund transfer be made to the Soil and Water Fund. This goes to the $118,909 from our general fund transfers out to their soil and water transfers in. I have a resolution authorizing a fund advance from the general fund to the CDBG 21? This is for their homeless prevention. It's reimbursable, so we usually do an advance, and then once they get the reimbursement, they give us the advance money back for $15,000. I have a resolution rescinding the board's orders of January 24th, 2022 for the fund transfer to be made to the general fund, resolution number 22-44. The auditor's office requested that it be rescinded. It was being transferred from a special revenue fund to the general fund and is not allowable. I think there was a little confusion between the departments, so they asked us to rescind that, and they're gonna work with Lex to get that fixed.
Okay.
A resolution appointing Seneca County Health Commissioner to establish the Hybrid Drug Overdose and Suicide Facility Review Committee. This is what Mircea and Ann Boone was in here last week. I have a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed bids for the Township Road 132, Township Road, oh, there's different acreages here. Township Road 132, County Road 49, Township Road 8, superstructure replacement pre-stressed box beams. Say that again twice. This is for 10:30 on March 31st here at the Commissioner's office. And I have a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed bids for the 2022 pavement markings. This will be at 10:15, April 7th, 2022 here at the Commissioner's office. And I'll wait for them to do that one last so you can explain it to me. A resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed bids for the Seneca County Airport runway lighting. This will be set for 10:15, April 7th, here at the Commissioner's office.
Good.
And then I was asked for the auditor's office to do a resolution for the American Rescue Plan. So I have a resolution to approve the American Rescue Plan Act Fund requests for various departments allowable under the federal guidelines. This will allow me the authorization to send the request over to the auditor's office to get some of those general fund salaries switched over that we had talked about. They wanted a resolution from you.
Okay.
So
Good.
that's what that's for. And then I have the last one, which I'll read and you can explain. I have a resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to enter into a purchase agreement with Kenneth and Evelina, is that how you pronounce her name? Detterman, trustee of the Kenneth and Evelyn Detterman Revocable Living Trust for the purchase of property located within parcel C13000014004004, 4 zeros for the total of 3.001 acres, and authorize Anthony Anthony Paradiso, President, Seneca County Commissioners, authorized to sign.
Okay, anything else? I'll comment on that, I guess.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
Okay. One comment, Commissioner, on the purchase. So we are entering into an option to buy the land. And then if things check out, we will then turn the option into a purchase of land. So the parcel is located out on 224. We are looking to put an EMS facility out there. We have a couple ways to go with it. This is one of them. We really like it, so Mr. Detterman's agreed to give us an option, and we can do more due diligence. So now that the cat's out of the bag with this property, which is a good thing, we will begin publicly and formally assessing the site and pros and cons and that kind of thing. So we're pretty excited for this opportunity. Everyone's aware, several meetings ago, commissioners set aside $750,000, and this would be part of that $750,000. That would include land acquisition along with the building construction. So that's what that is. And again, we continue to move forward in all our EMS discussions. So with that, I have no other comments. Commissioner Kirschner, any comments?
None, just keep rolling.
Okay, we're just about there. Any from you? Okay, I'll accept the motion to approve the supplemental appropriations as read by our administrator.
So moved.
Also, second?
Okay, we have a second. Roll call?
Commissioner Kirschner?
Yes.
Commissioner Schuff?
Yes.
Commissioner Paradisi?
Yes, thank you. Time for public comment.
Commissioner, the only thing I
Yeah.
would say about that is I think there are 2 resolutions appointing Seneca County Health Commissioner. We only want to approve one of those.
Yes, it was on the agenda twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure, just as from a nuts and bolts standpoint, we're just doing it once.
Yep, just once.
Yeah. I knew that, but
And that's for that task force, right? That's for the.
Yes.
Explain what that's for again, really quick. Last week we talked about it.
That Mircha came in to do the,
It just sounds like we're appointing a health commissioner based on what Mike just said.
yeah, the Hybrid Drug Overdose and Suicide Facility Review Committee.
Just
yeah, it's confidential committee that analyzes. It has nothing to do with the health department board or anything like that.
It's a new committee.
It's a
Allowable.
committee, yeah.
Just clarify for the public. Yep.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mike and Jimmy. Okay, so we'll go to public comment. David, you're here. We'll start with you if you have any
No.
question.
Yeah, no, we're here just to answer if there are any questions today.
So we approve.
Yeah, it's dangerous giving me the floor, Tony,
I
but
am not trying to spend taxpayer money, so
Yeah.
I start the conversation with that, okay?
Yeah,
But we
absolutely.
just approved,
Yep.
this $6,000 was where you value engineered that with
Yes.
Sandusky County and
Yep.
all that.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, there's a-
$53,000.
Now, there's a Bowling Green study
it's the Center for Regional Development, which
that
is
you worked hard
located at
on.
Bowling Green.
Okay,
Yeah, so-
and you sent us an email on.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not prepared to talk about it, that's fine, but that's separate from this.
No,
Right.
well, no, I'm happy to talk about
Yeah,
that.
so I think would be
Okay, yeah, I
appropriate
mean-
because
Yeah.
that's
happy-
another study, but I think it's kind of hot, right? We have to decide one way or the other.
Yeah, so it's the county took the leadership role and developed the last comprehensive economic development strategy. So what I would say is it's a strategic plan as opposed to a study.
Okay.
Although it does do the background research on what's going on in the economy, what's the industrial makeup, and all those kinds of things. But the county led that, and that was done with Great Lakes Community Action Partnership, and that study was done in 2011.
And you
That-
were here then? or
I was
before
not,
that?
so I
Who's your
inherited
person
it from
with that?
Rich and what the county did.
Okay.
Yeah, you were a part of that.
Okay, good. No,
So
just to
it
get
was
perspective.
It was solid, and it had a lot of great things. It had 9 key major goal areas, including attraction, business retention and expansion, and how do you help with the general quality of life, and looking at infrastructure, and looking at workforce development, et cetera. And so we've used that actually as engaging the membership and the stakeholders on what you think the most important priorities. We've still used that. But the reality is that though there's no more juice left in that lemon. And in addition, with all this federal money coming down the pipe, we've seen it twice now, right? Through the CARES funding, the ARPA funding, the Economic Development Administration, which is part of the U.S. Department of Commerce. And this was one of the incentives in doing it back then too, is they want you to have a good housekeeping seal of approval stamped economic development strategic plan.
Governmental accounting, Mr. Bragbaugh.
Right.
You have to have a
So-
plan to get grants.
Right, so the other thing that's an aspect of this thing is they really want more than one county. They want it to be regional. So, and that's been something that in the last, is a trend. It's something they want to see. And so we did a 4CG plan that was kind of a good base, but really need to get a comprehensive economic development strategy done. So we started having over the last year conversations with Sandusky County. And about a year ago, we were potentially looking at this. Also because the EDA provides grant funding to do this. Because if they're gonna say, hey, we'd like you to do this, they also say, hey, we'll give you some money to help you do it, but you gotta have some local commitment. We're not gonna fund 100% of it. So Sandusky County, so I suggested it a little over a year ago, and then within the towards the end of last year in the fall, so looking at October, November, we started having serious conversations with Sandusky County. And they said, hey, we would be in, we want to do this because we want to access those funds, and we would like to have a robust current strategic plan. And so we started having conversations. I had conversations earlier with what's called the Center for Regional Development. It's located at Bowling Green State University. But they're what's called the University Center, which has a special status within the federal governmental system. That means they have a special relationship with the EDA, with the feds, to perform this work. And when the feds decide what money they're giving out, if their university centers are recommending it,
Yeah.
you already got a leg up.
Yeah, I
So
love it.
they've done a lot of successful strategic plans. They just are finishing one up and have the bandwidth finishing up one for Wyandotte, Crawford, Ashland, and Richland counties. They're very good at this kind of partnership thing. And so in talking to Russ Mills over there, they just recently had a great event where they kind of gave the state of the region. He's like, yeah, I think we can do this. So what he did is, I had those conversations in November, and you were in, and the city was in. So in the case of Sandusky County Commissioners, the grant would be for half of the $53,000, paid for by the EDA if you get it approved. And in order to do that, you got to lock up the other 26.5. So Sandusky County said, okay, we got our, we got our money. We'll split if it's half numbers. 53,000, 26.5 between Sandusky County and us, which leaves us with roughly 13 and change. And what I did here is I went to the city of Tiffin, and I went to you all and said, hey, would you be in for 66.25 to get a $53,000 plan done? That gives us the first new economic development strategy we've had in more than 10 years, and a leg up and acceptable plan to get federal money. And you all were like, yeah, this sounds like a great deal. I'm paying 1/8 for something that's going to leverage millions of dollars. You're like, I'm all in, which is the same thing you all did back then, and you got money out of that plan back then. So I've gotten letters, and so we're excited to move forward. The reason why this got accelerated to the front burner is that the Center for Regional Development at BG submitted the application to the EDA on behalf of Sandusky and Seneca County, and they got back the first, like, you're good to go. Now now it's not the official approval, but it's like, I need letters now from the governmental entities to say, yeah, we're absolutely in and we'll participate. We know for the commitments that the city has right now, that in terms of being able to actually start the actual planning work, probably in the summer, looking at June at the earliest, maybe July and later in the summer in terms of the practical nature of when does that plan start, but getting everything lined up, and ED says that's no problem. We just, we want to lock this down and get the grant approved. So that's the stats, pretty darn exciting. Trying to leverage that get grant funded for half of it, and then part of Sandusky County.
You've kept us informed, but you've worked hard on it, and I think this is another one of those, a lot of moving parts, a lot of people come together, everybody pays a little, and we all benefit, So I don't know, we're kind of in the public comment phase of the meeting.
The regional partnership too.
Commissioner Kirschner, I'll yield to you with all your seniority. I would like to formally bring this up in a meeting and act on it. Take a vote, 3 of us vote, see what the outcome is. But is that appropriate to bring this up for next week, or how do we? Am I missing something?
We did the letter, and the money
this
put
money
in
here.
the 6,600.
But I thought I think do we have to do something else? Didn't you send me an email? Did I miss?
No,
No, that was the,
Stacy
Okay.
took care of it, but I just want to make sure you all know and are comfortable
So
with how
that
things are
last email-
progressing and what the status is.
You just sent me an email from Bowling Green, right?
Yes.
Okay,
and
so
that
I
is-
I misread it.
Sometimes
Because I
state,
thought it said everything you said, but you needed,
needed the
we
letter,
needed the
and we got
letter.
the letter.
Yeah.
we got the letter.
So they got it done for you. That's the team you got assembled here.
Stacy's on.
They get her done. They got it done.
I knew that part, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that part. But
Okay.
That doesn't surprise me, but I thought it was a money thing. That's why I was bringing it.
Yeah, it was the official on county letterhead that commissioners are committed. Because last time
We're
I
good.
wrote a letter that said, hey, we'd had
I keep
discussion with the
learning.
city and the county and everybody, but now they want, that's nice, David, that you talk to them. We'd like to see a letter that they're committing
good
the
then.
money on their letterhead. So then, then they're comfortable taking it to the final
I'm a
stage.
little slow, David, sometimes, but
You guys are
I'm
moving.
not afraid to ask.
I don't say this very often, but
what
you
I
guys are
understand.
moving at the speed of business. I'll
Yeah.
just say that. So
You're not slow, just.
I don't say it very often, but I gotta say it in
Yeah,
this case.
just try to, I
Good
don't want
stuff.
to leave you hanging if it's.
No, I appreciate it. You guys
I'm
have
a
been
little-
great.
You know,
From
you
cares
hear
to
my-
this, it's been great.
I actually go to the counter and pay for my ticket. I don't. So, I'm a little, okay, thank you.
Our
Adam,
pleasure.
anything from you?
Not much right now. We, as you mentioned, we're launching the broadband strategic plan tomorrow. There will be studies or surveys coming out of that we will be pushing out. I know Commissioner Shuffle's there. The Regional Planning Commission is going to be hosting a lot of those surveys on their website, and TSEP will be fully behind that and trying to get as many respondents over to their site to get on those surveys as possible. But other than that, not much in the way of an update.
So remind me tomorrow when we're at the meeting, there's a Township Association meeting next, on the 17th.
Thursday.
And, these studies are as good as the responses. So we're gonna need people to, there's been a lot of work to this point, and now we need these entities, including, to take some time and reply. So I wanna put that on the agenda with the township trustees to make a report and a mini plea to act timely so that the study represents really everybody's opinion, but if they don't fill out the form, not saying they won't, but sometimes people need nudged.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. I mean, this is different than most every other study and plan, because what they're gonna wanna know is at individual household level, how's your broadband, how's your internet? Because the federal maps that cover larger sections, if someone has it, they're like, okay, it's good, you're covered, but we know that's not the truth. And I remember, the trustees were saying, you know what, let me just rephrase, the broadband's not good, right? So, it really matters. It doesn't matter if the general maps and people in your area have it. If you don't have it and your kids can't do school when it needs to go to remote, or you can't get telemedicine and telehealth, it doesn't matter what the person down the road gets, because your family isn't taken care of. And so it's much more different than we hope we get 10% or 5%, and that's kind of a representative voice. This is going to be much, much different. And though that data is the data that the private providers are going to use to be able to prove to go get the bigger grants, because the maps say they're okay, but if they have actual better data that says not everybody's being served, then they can go after the money. That's how we're helping them go after these big chunks of money so they can put in the infrastructure necessary so it makes sense to them from a return on investment. So I appreciate what you're trying to do and talking to those folks.
It's a grassroots effort.
It's a grassroots effort, because then they were trying to help the households.
We gotta just get everybody this is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a
Congressman
big
Ladd
deal.
is coming tomorrow. I mean, he's the ranking
Telecom.
member on the telecom committee in Congress. We're not even in his district yet, but he's coming to the meeting because he wants to help.
Stars are aligned, let's bring it home.
We have a great opportunity here, so thank you. You just remind me, because I'm a little,
I've got the note.
Okay.
Yeah, and Adam's gonna lead the charge on our side for this moving forward, so It's exciting.
Anybody else? Ben, you're here, you good? You want to say something?
Yeah, just real quick, Ben Nutter, former commissioner, current Seneca County resident, and I'll just speak as a moment as a former commissioner to your point. So when I came into office in 2005, and each individual entity, government entity, had some sort of strategic plan that they had somewhere on a shelf. But what we learned and what we found out was that the collaboration between counties and municipalities and villages and townships as it relates to that strategic plan make you much more marketable. And the late, great Congressman Gilmore was able to get a great deal of money for this locale. However, we didn't have a great infrastructure plan in place, so we had to scramble around and get it. And that is what you see with the colleges. We did beautification enhancements on Sarah Street and then Tiffin University, and it was a great project. But it led us to realize, hey man, we need to do a better job of being prepared. And so, and all of that, took some time, but I think that 2011 strategic plan was very, successful in its mission. And the return on investment for that plan was well worth it. So I applaud you for looking forward to doing those things, because, best time to plant a tree was yesterday, second best time's today, so very good.
I like that one. At my duck hunting club, old guy that was, he said, when I die, I want you to bury me out there on the point under the big oak tree. So, Joe, what oak tree? He goes, we haven't planted the seed yet.
I want to live that way.
Isn't that a good one? Come on, Commissioner Kirschner, you gotta smile at that one.
I'm smiling. You can't
God bless him. Anybody else? League of Women, any comments? We good?
No, I'm.
Okay, Jimmy, open her up.
Sure. If you're joining us online and you'd like to speak during public comment, you can go ahead and hit the unmute button and come forward now. I did mention something in the chat and no one responded, so.
I got a message from Mike Ditto. He said he could chime in on the
Why do
capital
we always
budget.
forget you, Mike?
All you, Mike.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I tried to unmute the video, but apparently you don't want me to do that, Jimmy, so that's okay. That's all right, I don't need to.
We can do that.
No, thanks for the time this morning. As I know the commissioners know, we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I've heard some capital discussions this morning. The deadline for us to get everything to Senator Reineke and Representative Click is approaching. Next Friday is the big day, so we'll have to have a summary of our projects that you'd like to submit for consideration by then. So we're happy to assist in any way that we can. And Stacey, I know you and I have been playing a little bit of phone tag, so maybe we'll connect sometime today. Also, kind of the big sort of black cloud hanging over us right now is that we do not yet have official confirmation of the congressional and legislative maps from the court. Right now, the primary is still slated for May 3rd. But if the court rules those unconstitutional again, I think all bets are off on that primary date. So stay tuned on that. As soon as we hear anything, we'll let you know. That is sort of the big deal right now. Also, we're going to send you a summary of a document just so you have it today. There's a bill that is sort of creeping its way through the legislature, House Bill 422. It originally started as a bill dealing with municipal water and connections to counties and things like that. And there was an amendment this week that we're getting a copy of today that actually exempted counties from this. I think the County Commissioners Association came in and said that they were in opposition to this. We don't want that to, from what I have heard, it's not a great bill. There's a lot of consternation over it. So we'll get you a summary on that, only to alert you to it. Counties are not part of it now. That could change through other amendments, and if this bill does in fact get over to the Senate. So just to put it on your radar, something that may be popping up later down the line that I want you to be aware of. But those are the kind of the big items right now. Obviously, we're capital budget and redistricting focused still, and we'll look forward to working with you on submitting your projects in the next week.
So tomorrow morning, after our meeting, I'm going to meet with Representative Kleck to discuss our EMS. We had a discussion with regarding equipment and maybe some bricks and mortar for Sentinel Vanguard. Remember that discussion, Mike? And I'm going to try to get to Tuesday, the Sandusky County Commissioner meeting on Tuesday, to see if we can kind of combine that. And we're talking, it might be $75,000 kind of be a nice project. It'd be maybe 75 from each county to help fund the startup of the EMS program at Sentinel Vanguard, which would be a great collaborative, both counties kind of splitting that, and Representative Klick would love that. I made a phone call and talked in person, David, when we were over, and I'm sure there's some interest on the other end, but it's a timing issue to get this done by the 17th, so heads up for you on that, and unless the other two commissioners object, because we were behind this project anyhow, I guess I'm just trying to maybe reduce our amount and bring Sandusky County in on it, which is going to benefit all of us. So that's all I have.
Anything you need from us on that discussion continually, we're happy to participate.
Yeah, I'm waiting on, and he's working hard on it. Greg at Sentinel's getting some numbers together for us.
Great.
And we just don't have them yet, but I know he's close. So.
Charlene from Regional Planning wants to speak up.
Okay, Charlene.
Should be able to unmute. Oh. I think she's talking, but it's very quiet.
There we go. It would not unmute. Thank you. So I just wanted to chime in on the broadband subject. Tony's great point that we need to bring it up during the Township Association meeting next week. Actually, John DeVoley's on slate from the call to give about a 10 or 15-minute presentation to the Township trustees that night regarding the strategic plan, as well as getting the Township trustees to sign up for the Rural Initiative Committee so that we can start meeting with them and talking about their needs and concerns and as regards to the plan and involving village mayors. So I wanted to just give you that little update so you know it is on deck to be talked about on Thursday night at the meeting.
Okay, great. Good to hear. Thank you. Jimmy, with nothing else, we're Mr. Breidenbach.
I just want to make a comment about this meeting today. It's very informative, like all of the meetings. This was especially good
Learned
today,
some
what
things.
I've learned. Now, I'll forget half what I've learned.
Well, we record them, it's just, we have to know how to find it and then turn the computer on and have broadband access so we can watch the recordings, right, Jimmy?
It all comes together.
So we memorialize the meetings, but yeah, well, thank you.
If you want to buy some concert tickets, just talk to Tony.
Boy, Kayla, thank you. Meeting is adjourned.